Hello, and welcome to Liferay University. My name is Joel. In this video, we will be going over the course topics for the Liferay Commerce training. In this first section, we're going to be talking about Commerce and Liferay DXP. The first chapter is about Liferay DXP and Liferay Commerce, how they interact, what new features Commerce adds, a general overview of what Liferay Commerce is. Then we move on to how does Liferay serve business-to-business commerce needs. So we dig in a little bit. We look at what is business-to-business commerce. We have a particular use case we're going to be following. And then we're going to move on to actually building commerce sites. So we're going to start by building your first commerce site using what we call a site initializer, particularly one for a business-to-business use case called the Barrel Site Initializer. So we're going to get up and running quickly with this pre-built commerce site, the Barrel Site Initializer. Then we're going to move on to the next major section, which takes up the rest of the course. This starts in the middle of Chapter 2 with building a custom storefront. So here we're going to start looking at what does Commerce Site Administration have, what are its functions, how do we actually create something like that site initializer that we created in the last section. So we're going to go over the basic features, what comes out of the box with Liferay Commerce, so both the new features in the site administration panel, an entirely new section added below that publishing section, if you're familiar with the traditional Liferay site administration, as well as some new widgets that come with Liferay Commerce. Then we're going to move on to manage customers and accounts. So we're going to look at the traditional Liferay user framework, how that works with Liferay Commerce, and with some new features as well. In particular, we're going to look at Commerce as a self-service solution. In Commerce, we have a new sub-organization called Accounts, which allows users to log in and be logged into the same account and buy things from the same account as their coworkers. So you can have a bunch of people from the same business using the same account, but still having their own unique user identity in the Liferay platform. Next, we're going to move on to organizing customer accounts into user segments. So user segments are a new feature of Liferay Commerce. And so how do we organize customer accounts in a way that's logical to use these for discounts, price lists, other things we'll get into later. Next, we're going to get on to maybe the most important part is creating your catalog. So the products that you do want to sell, whether they're services, whether they're actual physical products, whether it's software you download, all those things can be put in a catalog on Liferay Commerce. And then how do customers find those things? So you use categories, you make things easier to find, you have an intuitive hierarchy of the way your categories are all related, and thus your products are all related to each other. And then we're going to tailor the catalog to meet the needs of your customers using catalog rules and user segments again. Finally, we're going to move on to what will be Chapter 5, where we set product prices. We do this in the SKUs, and then we're going to talk about how we set up payment methods in commerce settings, as well as taxes, and finally get to how do you create different prices from that base price in the SKUs. We're going to talk about discounts. So how do you reduce prices when the demand or the supply requires it? And how do you create unique price lists for customers who might cost a little more to do business with, or partners maybe that you want to provide your services or products at a lower price. Next, in Chapter 6, we're going to focus on placing orders. So how do we set up order approval, a basic order workflow for your customers? So that's part of the self-service solutions I talked about earlier. We have customers who are able to log in, become account managers, and then manage their account, add users, or invite users. This reduces overhead for site administrators, platform administrators, probably yourself, as the commerce site is built out. And then we're going to focus on shipment methods. So once customers can actually order your products from the catalog that you created nice and easy for them, how do you ship it to them? What kind of shipment methods do you have? We have several that we'll show you how to set up. And finally, we get to the last section. This will be Chapter 7. On the left, you'll see it at the very bottom. And this is completing your digital storefront or the customer portal. This is basically those final steps, getting the portal, getting the digital commerce site or your storefront, whatever you want to call it, to look perfect, to have that perfect customer experience, adding the last few widgets to pages that we need. And we'll finally look at how do you actually place an order and follow that all the way through just to get the customer's point of view. That concludes the course topics. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will look forward to seeing you next video.